When you go from having the first germ of an idea for something to writing your first draft, do you spend a lot of time sort of really digging into and thinking you really know your characters inside out before you start that first draft, and do you outline and do a treatment and know every scene, or do you just kind of crack on with your first draft and then rewrite?
Yeah, I do the lots of notes and beats and like try and figure out the story before typing, because I find that typing is really horrible, and it just hurts your body and your mind. Just sit in front of a blank screen and, oh, now what's next? I like to just have the whole plan out in front of me and know. And basically how I write is I'll start with the beginning and the end. I just want to really like visually, or like just something that I think is like, this would be a cool way to end a movie, and this would be a cool last image for an audience to see. This would be a cool first image, and this would be a cool way to open a film. And then I'll start, and then I'll put in some scenes throughout. I think this would be a great scene. And then eventually, when I've got enough of these scenes or sequences, then lazily just glue them all together with some sort of connecting scenes. But that's it, really. That's sort of that's my style. And when I know what it is, then I can write really fast. But if I'm just sitting there with, like, if you were to say, oh, you write a story about, you know, a soothsayer on a mission to find some herbs in a fantasy land, and then I just had to look at a blank page, I'd be there for a year.
What were your inspiration for Jojo Rabbit, except the book Cajun Skies?
So Jojo Rabbit is a film, just for those of you who don't know, it's a film that I've just shot and I'm editing at the moment. It's set in World War II, and it's a, what do you call it? What do I say? It's not a comedy, it's a...
Dramedy. A dramedy.
About a little boy in the Hitler Youth who's trying to be the best Nazi he can.
And you're in it.
And I'm in it.
And you play.
Hitler. And that's it. Spoiler alert. They lose.
With Jojo Rabbit, so when did you start writing? What?
I started writing in 2011.
Yeah.
And then shot this year. So I think basically all of my scripts have taken about over 6 years.
And do you write then? Does that mean that you're writing 3 or 4 on the go always?
Well, I wrote that, and then I went and made What We Do in the Shadows and Wilder People and 4, and then came back and shot this year. But that's the way I prefer to write. And this is my little trick that none of you will want to do. I will write a draft, and then I'll put it away for a year or so, and then, or even 2 years, or even 3 years, and then I'll come back to it, and I'll read it, and I go, who wrote this shit? And then I will read it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then I will throw that away, and then rewrite it from page 1 based on the memory of what I read. And then my 120-page script will suddenly be 80 pages, and it'll just be the bare bones and just like the important parts, or the things that I can remember from reading the script. And so I think that's like quite a good filter system. And then when you have like this very sort of bare bones short version of your story, then you can add back in some tonal stuff and some more jokes and shit and stuff like that. But yeah, so that takes way longer than anyone wants to do. Sometimes I used to do this thing, a friend of mine came up with this really great system, which is when he was writing multiple things. So sometimes I'm writing multiple scripts, which is, this is a good system. So you break up your workload into 20-minute breaks, and you set a time for 20 minutes, and at the end of that 20 minutes, then you force yourself to move on to the next script. And then after that 20 minutes, you force yourself to move on to the next project. So maybe you do that with 3 things. So every hour you're working 20 minutes on 3 projects. Then what's good about it is you've only spent 40 minutes away from the original project. And so at the end of that 40 minutes, you still remember what ideas you left off at. So it's not like, oh, I really had to finish this idea and give myself another 10 minutes. If you just force yourself to stop, you won't forget where you were, and you'll go on to the next thing. And I found that's quite good if you're under pressure to write lots of stuff at the same time.